kind of creepy. I don't know if I like that. One of the reasons I started learning Japanese was because I wanted to start watching anime without subtitles. I really love the nuance of the language. Like, there's so much depth and formality. Like, there's a ton of ways to say I, whereas in English we just have, you know, I and me. That's pretty much the only ways that you refer to yourself. These are the 10 words that refer to I or me that I hear most often, and I think are the most useful to enjoy the language. So, the first 4 I call the was and the tas. They're all they sound like that. The first one is watashi. You can say it with me if you want. This is so cheesy. Watashi, watashi. This one is the bread and butter of I or me words. It's basically just textbook Japanese. Very polite and straightforward. So you really can't go wrong with saying watashi. It's a courteous, good way to say I. It just leaves a good impression when you're meeting someone for the first time to use watashi, because it shows that you respect them and it shows that you're serious and you're presenting yourself well. The second one in the wa-ta group is watakushi. Watashi is actually driven from watakushi, and watakushi is a very princely, very formal, it's kind of like a, it's really formal. It's really old. So this is from ancient Japan. Now, you can actually still hear watakushi pretty often if you're on the news and you hear the president speaking, or if you hear the emperor speaking, or if it's a business meeting, you'll hear it. Just not that much between you and your friends, or anyone you're really likely to meet. In anime, however, it has a stigma for characters that are kind of like the pompous rich kid. So it's like, okay, this guy has a lot of money, and he's a snob, and he's kind of he kind of sucks. So the next one, the third one, is very common. It's atashi. So it's watashi with no sound. So just atashi. And this one is used by females all across Japan. It's just a chill way of saying watashi without being too formal between friends, or even just meeting people for the first time. Obviously I don't use it because I'm not a gal. I could if I wanted to. That would be very And now the last of the was and the tas, number 4, is washi. And washi is, it's known to be kind of like old people speak. So you probably won't hear someone under the age of like 70 or 80 using washi. So if you're watching an anime or something, you can expect really old people to say washi. And the 2 that I can think of off the top of my head, Professor Oak from Pokemon. Washi wa Pokemonster Kyoju is, I'm a Pokemon professor. And oh my god! Okay, so number 5 is boku. Boku is interesting. It's like mainly used by boys under the age of 18. So like high school boys, middle school boys, elementary school boys. Girls of all ages tend to use it too. It kind of has like a tomboy kind of sporty vibe to it when girls use it. When guys use it, it's like a very humble, informal I, if that makes sense. All right, so number 6 is ore. And this is kind of the big boy one. If you've seen any anime ever, you've heard ore spouted constantly, because ore is just the anime main protagonist word of choice. Hokage wa ore no yume dakara. Kaizoku wa oni, ore wa naru. There's kind of a stigma around ore from people that are studying Japanese but haven't been to Japan, I've noticed, just from like forums, and I spend too much time. A lot of people say, like, you know, go to Japan and do not use ore. Like, ore is so rude, like you're gonna start a fight or something. That's totally not true. A lot of people in social circles, like smaller social circles, say ore, and it's totally fine. There's zero formality, but it's not rude. It just kind of shows that there's no walls between us. The next one's a little more uncommon. It's a lot less common, I guess, than the other ones if you're living in Tokyo especially. These are ora and oira. Ora and oira are just lazy ways, essentially, of saying ore, and the nuance is that it's very kind of hillbilly. Southern Japan or northern Japan, kind of just in more rural areas. It has a stigma when people use ora or oira when they come into Tokyo, that they're kind of lazy, that they don't care about how they sound or how they refer to themselves. It has this like nuance in commercials and stuff where like the farmer is always going to be saying ora, or in anime it's always going to be like the people from the boonies. Honestly, this one's my favorite. It's just really easy to say ora. I guess as far as characters, Kid Goku, like Son Goku, says ora. Number 8 is ore-sama. I want you to instantly delete that from your vocabulary. You will only hear this from the biggest
fool a silly or stupid person.
In Japan or anime. Essentially what it is that when you're talking to other people that you don't know, you generally add san as a suffix. You attach suffixes to convey intimacy or respect or just any sort of formality. Sama is the highest form of respect when you're talking to somebody, at least as far as I know or I've heard commonly used. For example, God with a lowercase g is kami, and then God with an uppercase g is kami-sama. So basically what you're doing is you're saying ore-sama. It just sounds like really disconnected. You just don't even talk to your subordinates that way. And you're only gonna hear this from the most maniacal villains like Dio Brando or like really scummy pirates in One Piece. It's just funny. It just makes me laugh every time I hear it because it's so ridiculous. Okay, so the last two they're pretty weird. They're not at all common in Tokyo. If you're just walking around, you're probably not gonna hear this at all. Number 9 is seisha. Seisha is how a samurai refers to himself.
But for now, I'm just gonna do some random cutting.
Obviously, you're not gonna hear this other than in period dramas or anime, like Rurouni Kenshin. If you use seisha, people will either think you're the biggest weeboo ever, or they're just gonna laugh because it'll just be funny. Honestly, there's no harm. It's not like saying ore-sama. It's just like kind of like a, where did you learn that from, you know? If a Japanese guy came to America or any other English-speaking country and started throwing out words like thou, thine, and thou art, and you're just kind of like, that's awesome. Like, I'm glad you know that, but why are you saying it? And number 10 is even more nuanced, warawa. And warawa is if you're the wife of a samurai, so it's under very specific conditions. Honestly, just go for it. Go say warawa to somebody, see what happens. I guess that's it. I don't know what else to say. Thanks for watching. Love you. See you later. Bye.